Who has a 100-word summary of all the trouble you guys got into these like hexagonal facet filter in Photoshop villages?
Rock Me Baby. No,
Blood
these
sacrifice.
these villages always existed, and shut up if you think otherwise.
Yeah, that's not distressing.
We
And,
went to some villages, and we found that one of them was planning to kill Lugren and drain his blood to make better wine, which may have been an improvement.
More useful
I
than
know-
Lugren's otherwise being.
More wine's always good, especially with all this gaslighting that's happening, for sure. But at the same time, I'm not willing to sacrifice a member of our family specifically for better wine.
Is Ravenloft just like the demi-plane of gaslighting?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that a Ravenloft thing or just a?
Is that a Burkroad thing?
Well, I was gonna say, is it a? I forgot what realm we're in.
Well,
Crap.
there may be a
Archon?
specific realm in Ravenloft where that is the specialty.
But like, is that a Darkon? Is it a Ravenloft thing, a Darkon thing, or a Brookroad thing?
I think Darkon is just kind of sad. Like there's an evil wizard king and he's bummed out because he's been trapped here for 1,000 years, so everyone else is all bummed out too.
I will say that our version of Darkon does not map to any printed, like, existing version of Darkon. None of those suited my purpose.
Not even Azalin King on Twitter.
No. Like, that's a good Twitter account. It never updates, but it is a good Twitter account.
No, but and also Evie is a tyrant, and Edmont might be forced to overthrow her for his own safety.
Yeah, might happen. So, you went to the village of Aelhurst
Yes.
and uncovered a
Yes.
blood sacrifice ritual. Then you went to the village of Berazar.
And we uncovered a potential smuggling ring, and also the people here are very rude.
Yes.
Not rude, superstitious.
We're pretty sure they're smuggling children, so we'll find out if that's true or not.
Well, where did smuggling children come from?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Be true,
I'm still a little thrown off on that. That's news to me.
is that
So
just
the
Victor?
first one was blood sacrifice. This one seems like smuggling children would be.
Okay,
the
well,
one to
you
do it.
can't jump straight to that. You need like evidence before you start throwing
We're
that
in
around.
Ravenloft. What do you want?
To be fair, I jumped straight to he jumped to straight to blood sacrifice last time and was right, to my chagrin.
So the three pieces of evidence that you have in Berazar so far is, number one, you've detected some sort of magic emanating faintly from the forge that you've been unable to identify so far. Number two is that the woman who works the forge is uncommonly handsome. And number three is, I forget if Victor or Evie did it, but one of the two of you picked up a snippet of thieves' cant between the forge.
Victor.
Was it Victor?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Between the blacksmith lady and one of her patrons.
Yes. And then Victor confronted her about it, and she was like, "What? We're not doing anything here."
And then I think that the conversation ended with, "If you don't already know what my business is, that you need to stay out of it."
That's about where she left it, yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's happening in Berazar is the headman is a woman named Maxime Reichert, who has extensive experience in operating and working a mine and is convinced that she can get a tin operation up and running in these woods. But so far has had difficulty getting the rest of the village to rally behind her.
and
Did
that
we?
seems to be the case when someone believes you are a cursed person.
I do believe we took care of the perception of a curse. Like we had a. Did we have the like? We were
I think you had a
just
plan,
talking-
but there was no execution on the
We haven't done
plan.
anything yet. We've determined there isn't, in fact, a curse, at least as far as there is concerned.
As far as you can tell, there's no actual curse, but there's a plan in place to do a public, like, purging of the curse to try to get things back on track.
See, that just seems like we're just making shit up.
We do that regularly. That's our that's our go-to plan.
I feel like there's probably a better solution than to just say the curse is magically gone and expect the people to buy that.
Hello, Solitayre. Welcome to Flumph.
The thing is, I feel like if we were lying, you wouldn't have a problem with this plan.
I don't even understand what the plan is.
We're gonna go and tell people there is no curse by the power of air,
But if there was an actual curse, I would want to solve it.
but there's not.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's
problem
not.
is
There's
solved.
just superstition.
The problem is superstitious small folk. So
Yes.
we gotta fill the superstition with.
Okay, here's the thing. Like, if you say there's a curse, but we solved it, then they're like, oh, she was cursed. I'm not sure that's the move.
No, I don't think that's what we're gonna say. I think we're gonna say I think
If you say, like, I have conducted a magical investigation, there is no curse on this village, that's fine.
that was the plan.
Roughly.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
Ekon is not going to lie to these people. What the hell?
Okay, so you're going to make a show of doing like a religious investigation into the nature of curses in the village.
Mm-hmm.
Ekon has to reassert that air is in charge here.
Let's go down the list, starting with Ekon.
Mm-hmm.
What's what skill are you going to be putting into the pot here to try to convince the town that there is not a curse in play? What does Ekon bring to the table in terms of
if
making
I
a skill check to pull this off?
Yep, if I can get a enhance ability from Genie,
Yeah.
I think religion makes the most sense. I can't realistically justify any of my better skills. So yeah,
Okay.
my religion isn't bad. If I can get enhance ability, I'll throw some other magic on top of that, like for my own. But yeah, so Ekon is going to make a big show of it. He's actually going to pull out like he's going to do a big like ceremonial casting of a divination spell. It might just be augury, but he's going to burn a bunch of extra incense and do like a big prayer circle around the entrance to the inn and make sure everyone is arranged for it.
Okay. Is Edmont doing anything in terms of this plot?
I don't think I really have anything skill-wise that would contribute to it.
Okay. What about Victor?
So Victor is going to go, I guess, and question people about what they know about the curse, and basically try to use investigation to show that there is no curse and there's no evidence for a curse.
And what is Evie doing?
I think Evie will probably use persuasion, and her position is like, we don't think there's a curse here. We're going to do an investigation, but we are going to look into these mines and make sure that they meet my satisfaction that they are safe.
And Genie.
I guess Genie's gonna set up magical detection tools and things like that, and make a big show of looking for errant magical forces or whatever. So like, basically, Ekon's got the spiritual, like the divine magic side covered, and Genie's like, let's make a big show for the the arcane side.
So in terms of a skill check.
Arcana.
Okay.
Oh, we got a hit.
All right, go ahead and
We got a good
apply
rate.
whatever bonuses you guys need to. In terms of if you want to cast enhance ability, Genie, you'll be able to use your flash of genius on somebody, I'm sure.
Right.
So that starts out as a 26.
Okay.
Okay, so Evie rolled a 20, and she has a plus 10, so 30.
Okay.
Victor's got 18.
Well, one in. Let's see. So that's 23, 20. So 28
Okay.
casual 28. Oh, actually, hold on. Who rolled the lowest? So I had a 23 on
Sounds like
dice.
Victor got
Victor's
18.
the lowest at 18.
Okay. So take a +5 on that, so everybody gets above a 20.
23 for Victor.
Okay.
So 23 for Genie then. And I'll mark off that level 3 spell slot and the Flash of Jinx.
Ekon.
Mhm.
Give me a performance check.
Mm.
At advantage. You can substitute wisdom for charisma here.
Okay, that's actually significantly better. So that plus whiz. I don't have any proficiency, so 23.
Okay.
A lot of 23s.
So over the course of 2 days, you guys are making yourselves very publicly known that you're looking into the basis of whether this woman is cursed and whether the land is cursed and whether the mines are cursed, trying to break this superstition. Ekon and Genie, the two of you are drawing the most eyeballs, being the most prominently attached to the supernatural qualities at play. Ekon through prayer, Genie through, I don't know, walking around with one of those like ghost detectors.
Science with it's all capital. It's science, all capital letters with an exclamation point.
Right, got it.
Science.
Victor.
Yeah.
Over the course of your investigation, talking to the townspeople, trying to find out like where did this idea that this woman came here cursed, like where did it even originate from? You kind of trace the rumor mill around in circles for a while. And you don't find anything actually significant to that end. Not to the point where it's going to help more than what Ekon or Genie are doing at the moment. However, the man you saw in the forge, the one that was the woman had spoke to using the thieves' cant, is not in the village on the second day after you guys have begun this task. And you can't find him again. And nobody saw him leave at any point. Evie.
Yes.
At the end of 2 days, Air has signed off. Genie's weird science god has signed off. Victor has brought to light this, like, it's just a rumor chasing its own tail. It doesn't seem to have any particular origin. And you persuade these people there is no curse befalling the town. And now it falls to you to explain what you want done with this land and who's in charge of making it happen.
And Maxine has the credentials, right?
She has the credentials.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I would like to make this land profitable, and she has my full confidence that she would be able to do that. But I do want to, investigate the mines for myself, just to see for myself that they are safe. That just seems like, good.
They're not. They're mines. They are
Well, okay.
statistically very deadly indeed.
Well,
Hole in the
I
ground.
want to make sure they don't seem unusually dangerous.
This is why you have experts whose job is to go in and make these mines profitable.
Yeah, so like I'll probably for the next couple weeks she'll put Maxime in charge of looking in these mines, making sure that there's nothing that alarms her, make sure everything looks good. Like she just wants to assuage everyone. Everything that can be done is going to be done. We're not cutting any corners here.
Okay.
Except for all the corners.
We've cut so many corners, it's just a circle now.
Yep. Circle of life.
So by the end of the third day, not only have you more or less just convinced the people of the village to rally behind Maxime, there's always going to be mutterings about what happened to her family and her old village and whatnot. But you're pretty confident that you can leave this place in good hands. There is a wealth of tin in the woods once they can make the holes traversable and start pulling it out of the ground.
And they're not into 5 feet, 20 feet of buttressed arches within the mine at night, is what I'm hearing.
What about so there seems to be two and a half major industries in this village. The mines, obviously, but in addition to that, there's this is a heavily forested area where they have a copious amount of trees.
Yes.
And sub to that, they
shortage
have
of
firs and things like that.
Silverwood, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys had decided to send someone out here who knows how to work wood steel to Jacopo the Woodsman.
One of Jeannie's students.
Yeah.
In that, and then we left instructions for him to do. So, do we need to set so we've set up the mine as the primary thing, and the foreman of that mine as the head, is the de facto head of the village, correct?
Yes.
So, do we need to set up somebody to be in charge of the wood, the forestry part?
Not necessarily. She can make any decisions that need to be made on that point. It's going to be her job to ensure that the wealth of the city, or the wealth of the village rather, is well accounted for. And that however much Evie decides is fair taxation is sent up the road.
Okay. All right, so do we want to take...
I think Evie had decided that she wanted to get a good assessment of all three villages' situation before moving ahead with making decisions on taxation.
Okay.
Victor is not done investigating this whole thing.
Oh yeah, we need to know what's going on with the forge lady. It might turn out to not be anything, but we need to know.
Well, you know what? It worked last time.
What do you mean?
Cast, we were going to leave last time, and then you were like, nope, throw the bones. Whoa. Do it again. See what it says.
You want me to I mean, we haven't even looked into it yet. I don't know that we have to cast that yet. All we know is there's something going on, and we haven't looked into it any further than that.
Well, just...
Yeah, we did. We asked them, and they said, mind your own business.
Right, so, if we, ask the question, if we leave and mind our own business, wheel or woe.
Okay, so if we just leave now, mind our own business, wheel or woe.
Wheel and woe.
So
There was a woman involved.
There we go.
I mean, the mines are going to be fine, but I think something is up with the forge lady, and I want to follow up on that. But we were already going to do that, so I don't know why we need to cast the spell.
I mean, if for some reason it came back wheel for some reason, we didn't need to poke it.
Victor still wants to find out what's going on regardless.
Evie doesn't like secrets, whatever she's got going on back there. And I think at this point we have a pretty good idea that it's something potentially dangerous. But I think we already suspected that.
Evie doesn't like secrets unless it's someone plotting against her, and in which case she wants no disclosure whatsoever.
So what is being done?
Victor is going to continue. So he's going to ask around about the guy, but also whenever there's a chance, he's going to try and sneak into the forge and look around.
I think trying to find out who the guy is probably a good next step. I don't think she's going to let us back in, but I'm wondering if there's more information we might be able to get out of her.
So, hold on, Victor. Before you do that, my understanding is the guy that Victor saw never left the village.
He probably went into the mines and vanished.
So, is there something that
to get to a mine, he would have he would have had to have left the village.
So what that tells me is there's something hidden in this village. Like there's maybe another underground cellar. So if the two of I think we have the highest investigation between us.
So
Can we investigate to look for that kind of thing, like secret tunnels and stuff like that? And if Victor doesn't want to do it, I'll do it by myself.
Well, Victor's going to do it. Victor thinks the place to start is inside the forge.
yeah, in order to try to locate a theoretical secret tunnel underneath the village, you're going to have to specify one of its endpoints.
Jeannie, if you want
Are we
to,
proposing that there's a tunnel under her forge, like they have some kind of secret lair down there?
Yes.
Keep in mind too that for the duration of your stay in the village, the headman Maxime is also staying with her friend at the forge. She's given you her house, her dwelling space, which is cramped enough for all of you. For the duration of your stay, there's no inn here.
What were you going to say, Destil?
Jeannie, if you want, I can put an enhanceability on the two of you for intelligence, and then you can make the two of you invisible.
Go ahead and do that.
Well, I mean, hang on. I'm the Duchess. We don't necessarily have to do this cloak and daggers. We say, show us what's back there. We know it's something.
You're assuming that she's going to be honest with you, though.
Well, I mean, we could just... We force her to let us back there, then you guys can look at whatever you want.
So when Victor left, he said that if she didn't tell him, the truth, then they would do it the hard way. So having the Duchess come in and say, tear this place apart, is on the table.
It is. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess I could try talking to her first before we go straight to that.
She's a very pleasant conversationalist on a variety of subjects, but whenever you bring up the idea that, oh yeah, my cousin Victor said there was some shady stuff going on and I want to know your secrets, she does not reveal anything.
Evie wants to know how she does her smoky eye.
How she does what?
Her smoky eye.
Her smoky eye?
It's a makeup thing.
Okay.
I see this was not the appropriate venue for that joke.
I got
No,
the
I got
joke.
it. It's good. It's a good joke.
I think everybody got it, but we're correct.
Yeah, no,
And McDohl, come on now. I'm the worst gay guy ever.
So before we go tear it apart, Victor's in favor of Jeannie and himself doing cloak and dagger.
I mean, I guess that's okay. Just don't borrow trouble, okay? Don't make this worse.
Victor and Jeannie are going in there alone. You think Trouble's not going to follow?
Well,
Hush! Shh! Why? Why would you say that? We had him convinced.
We're still doing it.
Okay, I feel like I have to I don't want to go in there and find bodies. Unless they were already there, I guess.
No promises. Anyway, let's go.
Okay, you two can do your thing. Just, be...
So Victor and Jeannie are going to go in with enhanceability and invisibility, and they're going to try to... I'm assuming pick a time of day where Maxime will not be there. Well, she'll be out tending to her duties.
Yeah, when they're both not there is preferable. But...
Well, that's not gonna happen because the other woman works and lives in the shop.
It would either be middle of the night or when Maxine's not around.
Well, yeah, the Maxine's not around during the day.
No, I guess those are your two options. If you go during the day, Maxime won't be there. The other woman will. If you go at night, they'll both be there, but they'll be asleep in the bedchamber.
I think that. I think we should go during the day.
Yeah, I don't think Jeannie's built to sneak around at night.
If they're sleeping, though, couldn't we put some sort of cone of silence around them so they can't hear anything?
There's all kinds of stuff you could do to them. Limited only by your imagination.
And the rules of 5th edition.
SpongeBob imagination.gif.
And human decency?
So Jeannie and Victor are going in invisible. What time of day?
I vote day.
Nah, we'll go in day.
Okay, go in during the day?
Because her shop's not, super busy anyway, so it's not like...
It's a
Is my
forge. It's
understanding.
going to be noisy.
Well, so the thing is, too, like, Victor wants to check the forge because one of his thoughts is maybe that this magical emanation is coming from the forge and she's somehow using magic to make things that she shouldn't be making.
So
I have something
The two
else
of
that
you-
might stack up on that. I just have to check which spells are concentration. Which do you want more? Pass Without Trace or Silence?
Pass Without Trace. Isn't silence like stuck
Yeah,
in
sounds
an area?
concentration.
door open.
Yeah, both are concentration, so it's going to be one or the other from me.
I think
But if that's the case, then Pass Without Trace is totally fun. Totally Gucci.
investigating the forge during the day is not going to be possible. Even if you're invisible, it's just the logistics of it aren't going to work out because she's working during the day.
Yeah, that's why Victor was saying night. But if Jeannie wants to go in the day because she's afraid that she'll wake him up.
Well, I mean, it's not that. It's just that.
So
I mean, we could make 2 trips.
you can't
Yeah, I think that's probably.
We could, as long as we don't get caught.
going in during the day. Go ahead and give me stealth checks, the two of you,
Okay.
with whatever.
Add 10 to it.
appropriate-
All right. That is a stealth. 18, 20,
Oh, well,
29.
I have a 38.
I have a 29.
Okay. Let's get an Arcana check from both of you.
Oh, 8. Yeah, we both have advantage on this.
Oh, advantage, yeah.
Yeah, because he put
Yeah, I have enhanced ability intelligence on both of you.
so that's a
Oh, well, there's all my friggin' 20s for the day. That's like a. If a 23 isn't good enough, then it's a 31.
Okay.
mine is a or 25.
Bear with me just 1 second.
At Fleeting Bear.
So neither of you had determined what the source of the magic you were reading was in the forge, just that it was very faintly red. Sneaking into her shop during the day, invisible, not making any tracks, being very careful to maneuver around the shop so as not to arouse suspicion. You manage to get back into her cramped, even when she's alone, her dwelling space back behind the shop is just a cramped little space with a loft bed and just some personal effects, and all of those have been shoved to the side so a bedroll could be spread across the floor. This is where Maxime has been sleeping while you guys are in town. So the accommodations aren't glamorous at the best of times. However, neither of you can find a trace of the magic that you had noticed previously. Which means one of two things. Either there was a spell or effects taking place in this area that has since been dispelled or dismissed. Or there was a magical item in this area that has since been moved.
The hunter may have taken it with him when he left. So I guess we will relay this information.
Well, how are we going to track that guy down?
Well, we're gonna have. The first thing we want to do is we want to check around the rest of the town.
Well, you've already done that. You did an investigation check. You got like a 36 or something silly.
Let's
Yeah,
ask
but
about him. Like,
down.
who is that guy? Like, does anyone know him? Someone must.
The woods have no shortage of hermit woodsman kind of folks who don't live in the village proper, but who make their living logging or trapping or furring or hunting and offering their wares to the village from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
This is just one of those blokes.
All right.
And nobody saw him leave. Did we find any trace of where he might have gone? Any
Nobody.
tracks?
There's only one traveled path in and out of the city, or in and out of the village. I keep saying city, and I need to not, because it's not a city. So yeah, it's really, really difficult for someone to come or go without being noticed. It's very, very small.
Unless they're invisible.
If they were invisible, they could get out without being noticed.
We know what the object was, then I could scan for it, but we
Somebody
don't.
give me a survival check.
I think that's Orson's job.
Oh, Orson was supposed to level. Shoot, I did ping.
Oh, he
the
was.
code.
Yes, that was.
Hey,
I forgot to do that.
I don't think it's going to matter for this unless we get. I don't think it's going to matter at all unless we get into combat. But.
This will be the week I finally.
What does he
kill
get for
Orson.
going up a level?
Nothing, because he hasn't leveled yet.
Mm.
He doesn't get anything until I actually sit down and do it.
Survival. So
He would have got a proficiency bonus if he leveled.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
too bad. Oh well.
Okay.
Hmm.
That
We
is
got-
a
we got-
yeah. Let's stack everything we can on this because that's a.
I can use my ability to let him reroll it.
I mean, I could throw a wisdom advantage on that and a d4.
Well, you've got other sources of advantage. Okay. I forgot who we're dealing with here.
So that's a 10 plus. So that's a 15. I get him to a 15. What does everybody else get to?
So there's a D4 you can add to it.
Okay. So that's an 18.
18?
Is anything else?
Did you add the
Yeah,
d4?
nothing I can add to it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
So you task Orson with kind of moving throughout the perimeter of the forest, trying to track this man who was left several days ago. And it picks up a lot of tracks, animal tracks, people tracks coming and going, but is not able to definitively say any of these belong to this man who is nobody saw leave. It's entirely possible he walked off in the dead of night, wandered into the woods, and nobody saw him. It's unlikely, but possible. That seems to be what Orson thinks anyway.
Unlikely but possible is what I heard, right?
Unlikely, but possible. And the reason he would say unlikely just because it would be dangerous to walk off into the woods in the middle of the night alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's not something he would want to do when he's a survivalist who's, a skilled fighter and a skilled trapper.
He's okay.
He's pretty damn good, honestly.
He's a good boy.
He's better than any of us. Yeah, that's.
Do we want to stay here for a couple days and?
I mean, we could. I don't want to put Maxime out for too long, but we can stay as long as we need to.
Don't think. I think we should confront her, but I think we should confront her without the fuzz, if that makes sense. Which means that we give her a chance to come clean, not in front of Evie or Ekon. No offense, but the two of you are narcs.
Yeah,
What
you're
I'm-
probably right.
What I'm thinking is if we stay for a couple days to quote investigate the mines, then we can watch her, but also Victor can go and map the surrounding area and see if he can cross any place that might be.
Here's the thing. At this point, they know that we are onto them. They're spooked. They're gonna not do anything suspicious while we're here. They're laying low until we leave. So we have to do something that's gonna flush them out. We can't just watch the place and hope that he accidentally stumbles out.
We can go have s'mores and roast marshmallows in the woods then.
Is there any can anyone think of any questions for Air that might be useful here? Like, we could just ask Air if if that magical signature was dangerous for one.
We need to find out what it is either way. We're not leaving until this situation is resolved to our satisfaction.
Yeah, we can only do yes or no questions.
Right. So that's why I'm that's why I'm thinking yes or no question. Is it dangerous? Is it still in the village? Is the hunter still in the village? Those three are in my mind.
Using questions to narrow down where the hunter is, that's a good idea.
Is the hunter?
Do we know that they're a hunter?
is the individual that Victor witnessed in the shop. We can be more
Yeah.
specific than that.
There was
Could you
the
remind me out of character what that person like? I don't remember that at all. What happened?
He was just a guy who
walked
Victor
in the
saw.
shop. There was a man who was doing business with Florina, the pewter caster, in her shop. And while he was there, he noticed the two were speaking to each other very briefly in thieves' cants.
Okay.
Their business was
Okay, that was
concluded
the guy
and
who
he
was talking.
left.
Yeah, got it.
So like that, like just
Yeah, I
quick
can
answer.
come up with 3 questions for that if you want.
Yeah,
Okay. Spend 10 minutes, burn some incense. Lord Air was the individual who was speaking with the blacksmith in the shop that observed by Vincent.
Victor.
By Victor, is that individual still within 1 day's travel of the village?
How much leeway am I given on these answers? Let me get my phone. This is using the divination spell, yes?
Commune,
Commune,
Actual.
okay.
which is a ritual with no material components. Not costly material components.
Okay, so the first question is he still within 1 day's travel of the village?
Yes.
No.
Lord Air was the magic that Vincent saw within the
Victor.
black that Victor saw within the blacksmith's home. A danger to the villagers or other citizens of our country.
Yes.
And finally, Lord Air is that object within 1 day's travel of the village.
What are you asking about? What's the intent when you ask about that object?
The object that I had referred to about earlier, whatever the source of that magical signature was.
Okay. The answer to the third question is ambiguous. It's not a clear no. Neither is it a clear yes. And pontificating about it, a potential reason for that might be that it's an item that is crafted and given magic and then moved away from the village. And this is something that happens repeatedly.
So the forge woman is probably making magic items and selling them.
The witch. We must burn her.
Well, we don't have to jump straight to that.
That was a joke. I don't actually think we should burn her
As
necessarily.
the woman who wanted immediately to hang.
For murdering my brother, yes.
We want to befriend the witch and then use her.
So
Okay,
what is...
well-
are you going to confront Florina?
I feel like
or
at this
Maxine?
point we just have to say we know you're up to something, and if you don't talk to us, we're gonna have to escalate the situation.
So
And you may not want to do that in front of the police, so I understand that.
like
Understood.
again, do we do it with or without the narcs? Do the
I say
like
without.
without the narcs? What is so like Edmont as a member of the Not-Narc group? You get a say in this too, with or without the narcs.
I honestly have no strong opinions one way or the other regarding that. I mean, I honestly would prefer not to have Evie along just because I think she's gonna pop off.
That's
But-
an opinion.
Yes.
That's who's going to approach her then.
Like Eugenia will say, "That's very nice, but that is a strong opinion." So she'll pat you on the shoulder.
So who is going to
listen.
confront Florina?
I guess the three more the three unscrupulous
Who is
unscrupulous
that?
members.
Names.
That is. I don't think we should take Orson. I think it's just Jeannie, Edmont, and Victor. And Edmont doesn't. I know Victor wants to go, but I don't know about Edmont.
No, I'll go.
Okay, so the three of us.
It's Jeannie, Edmont, and Victor going into Florina's shop at a time of day where she'll be alone there.
Yes.
Okay. Early evening. She's taking an evening meal as you approach. And again, she's always very pleasant conversationalist. And she even remarks on how grateful she is that House Veritas is giving her so much patronage.
So
What?
Victor, while she's talking, Victor is going to start looking around for pewter figures in the shop and go and start looking at the forge to find out what she's in the process of making.
As far as figures, she doesn't make anything particularly decorative or ornamental. She's making a lot of like metal fixtures and things. And she's really very pleased that this idea with the curse has been disposed of, so the town can get some real work done now. She makes sure to express her gratitude to you for that.
You're welcome. I have 2 orders of business. One, when the mine gets up and running, and you have a steady supply of 10, I would like to commission an order, and I basically just commission an order of like rabbit figurines to basically match the rabbits as I put them on that icon. Just small 10, just decorations. And the other thing is we would like to know what that magical object that you moved out of your office, out of this building was, and we would like to know right now. Please and thank you.
As to the first requests, she would be happy to quote you a particular price, depending on how many figurines you want and what quality you want them to be.
All right.
As to the second, she respectfully declines.
So here's the thing: is we have determined that this magic to be dangerous to the safety of the duchy, and we are trying to give you a chance to tell us what it is, the nature of it, and like exactly what it is, before we get the authorities involved. This is your one and last chance.
And the smile diminishes from her face.
Like the next step is, and by the way, and I said, and there will be no leaving. The next step is Victor goes and gets the authorities.
By authorities, he means the Duchess that likes to hang people.
And then we get the information.
So you
from
threatened to hang her.
No.
Threatened to hang
Roll
her.
initiative.
Victor! God
Don't threaten
damn
to hang
it!
her.
You do that.
Victor
like,
said, the Duchess who likes to hang people.
I,
There is
Vic-
no context in which that is not a threat.
No, I
Notice how
agree.
he made it my fault, though.
Victor, we again, I don't know if the player thinks he's being subtle with the threats or if Victor thinks he's being subtle with the threats.
Was
Kind of low
not,
charisma.
was not a subtle threat.
So are Ekon and I rolling? Or is it just the other 3?
Ekon and Evie are not there.
So
I mean, Victor's not taking any hostile action, but
You threatened to hang her.
Yeah, that's the very definition of a hostile action. All right. Okay, let's go with purple. All right. Victor, you have the initiative.
he's going to talk and dodge.
Like, what are you going to say?
He's basically going to try and explain to her that, nobody wants to get Evie involved. We just want to know what it is. And
I think it's too late for that now,
most
Victor.
likely continue doing what you're doing as long as we know what it is
We're
you're
on
doing.
initiative now. You can say like 6 or 10 words on your turn. So what do you say?
Obviously, we'd prefer that not to happen.
Okay. And then you're dodging.
Yeah.
She begins casting a spell
All right.
that has
Would that I could counter it.
I don't think any of you get to make a saving throw, but Edmont might be okay here.
No saving throw. Uh-oh.
Suddenly, the entire forge is plunged into darkness, as though this thick ink just falls across every surface and drinks up all of the light, which is considerable because there's a smoldering forge nearby. And you are all effectively blind.
Okay.
That's going to bring us to Edmont.
Which direction was the nearest exit of this room?
I'm assuming it's behind you, because I'm assuming you guys came in through the front door of the shop to confront her, and you weren't going to put pointed questions to her while she had an access to an exit. So I would
Okay.
assume that the three of you are standing between her and the front door.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to. What was the lighting outside? Oh, I have to be able to see the location where I can teleport to.
Yeah, this was early
That's
evening, so you still had some daylight left, but
Yeah, so that's not going to work. Dark vision ain't going to work either because it's magical darkness. The spell dark vision can't beat magical darkness. So I'm going to move
okay.
out of the door, out of the room.
Step outside.
Step outside beyond the veil of darkness.
Give me a perception check at disadvantage.
Eight.
Okay. Moving or staying put?
Bonus action to dodge with a key point.
All right, who's next?
Genie. Genie cast Dispel Magic.
And I think it just works on the darkness spell. Yeah.
Lower.
You dispel the magical field of darkness.
Mhm.
Bring the forge back into light. Edmund has stepped out into the street. Victor is standing next to you. And Florina is no longer there.
Okay.